The post says single moms shouldn't give dating advice to their teenage sons. Better to defer to a highly respected man. I'm going to repeat it again. Single moms shouldn't give dating advice to their teenage sons. Better to defer them to a highly respected man. That sounds as silly as the way I just said it. This was a post from somebody on Facebook, and to tell a single mom that they cannot teach their sons dating advice, there's a whole problem with that. Teaching them how to be a man versus just giving them dating advice, those are two different concepts. I understand the first one. I can't teach what I'm not. But when it comes to dating advice, I can teach based on experience, and I'm a woman. First of all, highly respected man, that's subjective, because highly respected men SA'd me in the church when I was younger, if you know what I mean. Look that up. Highly respected men got a pass because, well, they were highly respected men. To me, if you're going to create a post like that, it should say some. Some single moms can't teach. It should say choose wisely who you send your sons to. Or at the end, choose wisely. And even another woman said in the post, in the comments, she was like, choose wisely. So the reason why I'm speaking on this, not only because I've been a single mom for even when I was married for a really long time, I saw discouragement in the comments, and I'm here to be a voice. Let me tell you something. Single moms can give advice to their teenage sons when it comes to dating. Not all, but some can. 3 rules in my house since my children were younger. They cannot tell each other, shut up. I just don't like that. Shut up. You know how they do that? You can't call each other stupid, and you cannot hit each other. Now, they're kids if they did things behind my back, but the culture of our household was you don't scream at each other, you don't say shut up, and you don't hit each other. And that has been since they were little, even until their teenage years. So did I not just teach my son some dating advice? I just taught him you don't raise your voice at a woman. And I was talking about, especially my son, to his sister. It was both. I have a boy and a girl. And I taught him, so basically I just taught him you don't raise your voice to a woman, you don't call her out of her name, stupid, and you don't put your hands on her. So I can't give him dating advice when his father did all 3 of those things. Well, duh, Dorian, he's not a highly respected man if he does that. People don't know that. People are highly respected in public all the time and then come home and cut the fool. I was married to him, and he was a pastor in the pulpit doing things at home. So when you just put it out there, we're just going to go based on the post and why it can hurt people and why it's just not correct. And if it's a politically incorrect page, that's fine, but you're still politically wrong, because I'm supposed to send him to his dad because he's highly respected in the community. So all I'm saying is we should not pay attention to the status. They are man, so listen to him. They're highly respected man, or they have this type of position. We should look at the vessel. Whether you're a Christian or not, believer or not, I'm going to pull back from my history. So the burning bush was a vessel, so we shouldn't listen to what was said in the burning bush, right? Or the talking donkey, that was in the Bible, right? That was just a vessel. So don't listen to it because it's not a highly it's not a man, it's not a person. Oh yeah, in Job, when he said age doesn't speak. Even in the Bible, it said older men, don't listen to them when the 3 friends were talking stupid and the young guy was the one bringing all the wisdom. So even there, it says that the 3 older men don't listen to wisdom. Let me tell you something. I don't care if it is a third dog, third human, third woman with 3 eyes. If they're spitting wisdom or knowledge to me or to my son, I'm going to listen to it. It's all about the vessel. And remember, don't get caught up in the Bible is this, that. We're not talking about that. We're just using the stories, whether you believe it or not, so that everybody can get something from it. So it's not about the status. It is about the vessel that is being used. Then they're going to come with, oh, these women about to get triggered. They ain't going to like this one. That's my point right there. When they say they ain't gonna like this one, that's not true, because there's some women in there that totally agreed. That's the whole point of this video and the post, is when we just have blanket statements and we don't say some or in some cases. Because when you say they ain't gonna like that, it's not true. You just negated the women that do. You understand what I'm saying? Or they'll say, oh, these women finna be in their ego. No, we're not in our ego. We're in the experience. We're in the actual experience. And just because you was raised by a single mom doesn't make you a single mom. Just because you was raised by one. So I understand. I get it. And then a lot of the men were saying, I wouldn't want my mom. That's your mom. That's my point. That is your mom. And then another one was like, I sure wouldn't. Then they would put like little clips and examples of bad examples. That's not everybody. Everybody's circumstance is not cookie cutter. Everybody's circumstance in life growing up, single mom, poor with kids, a single mom with kids, and she's wealthy. Two different experiences. So she's going to probably have more resources and more access. Let's talk about proximity. You say defer them to a highly respected man. What if you're not in the proximity of a highly respected man, such as a woman who wants to be with a rich man, but she lives in poverty, works in poverty, surrounded by poverty, go to a church of poverty, is all poverty, poverty. It's going to be hard for her unless she's online to, and even still then, be in proximity of a rich man. I want to date just a white man, but you go to church with all black people, you work with all black people, you live in an all black community, everybody in your family black, you only go to black events. So it's going to be kind of hard for you to find a white man, manifest to do your thing, girl. But the point is for you to say, defer them to a highly respected man. What if there is none? So I could be sitting here with all this wisdom and my son's about to make a choice with a girl, or a girl's about to make a choice concerning him. And I have to say, hey, son, if I were you, oh, wait, sorry, single mom. Excuse me. So that's why I chose to say, choose wise men. And that could be anybody. Choose a wise person. But yes, if you want them to have that male, example, my dad is gone. So I do talk about my Uncle Willie and my Uncle John and my Uncle Joe. I talk about them a lot. Then yes, you send them to wise men. Now let's take my uncles. I could say, I'm going to send my son to them because they're highly respected men. Yeah, they're highly respected men on their job in different places, but in closed doors, they could be evil men. They're not, and I don't believe that, but I'm just saying they could be. But because they're highly respected in the public eye, I'm supposed to send them to you because everybody sees them as here. And they could be straight evil, deceptive, pedophiles, all kind of crazy stuff. But the post just simply said, single moms cannot, should not give advice to their teenage sons. When I used to teach health, the boys would come to me a lot about their girlfriends, teenage boys, okay? Girls, of course, they're always gonna come to me and talk to me, but the boys came just as much, maybe even more. And I wouldn't allow them to follow me or us follow each other on social media, but when I was no longer their teacher, they were in my inbox. Miss, I'm still with Nicole, but this is what she's saying, this is what she's doing, and we just broke up, or I'm about to have a baby with her, or they come to me with all kinds of stuff, advice. Why? Because I'm a woman. Now, I don't know how you men do it. Like, get in the comments and let me know. When you're going through something with a girl, like as a man or a teenager, and your dad or, a highly respected man asks you, so, hey, how is it with you and Michelle? Y'all still, and the one with the hair, y'all still, and do y'all say stuff like, no, man, I'm on to, Andrea, look, you should like, do y'all do that kind of stuff? Or do y'all start like breaking down like, man, I tried. It could go both ways, right? I don't know. Or is it like a standard thing that you don't break down? You don't do that. You just be like, nah, we're not together. But what I'm talking about from my experience, these boys, teenage boys, are breaking down, not crying, and weeping, but like just, man, I just need, what should I do? How should I say this to her? How do I get her back? What did I say wrong? What did I do? They're coming for dating advice. Everybody can post whatever they want on their page. But again, if you really want to help people, you do have to be mindful of what you say. Unless you just want to post stuff just to have people arguing. Like I said, if I did say that already in your comment section, you just want people arguing and going back and forth, or you just want to say something controversial, that's you. But I know how important it is. That's why when I write quotes and when I write things, I say some. It's like me saying, men don't want me because they're gay. There's no truth to that. There's no whole truth to that. Now, when I say some men don't want me because they're gay or homosexual, there's 100% truth to that. 100%. You can't go anywhere with that. That's not the only reason for all of them. Some of them are this, some of them are that. Some of them just don't like me. They just prefer something else. But for me to say men, and y'all hate that, men cheat, men are dogs, and they'll be like, not all men, not all men. So that's all I'm saying about the post. It literally says, it doesn't say some, it says single moms should not, cannot, let me pull it up, give dating advice to their teenage sons. They shouldn't do that. They should defer them to a highly respected man. And it's confusing and problematic because even the people in the comments, the women are like, oh yeah, I agree. My son wouldn't be who he is today if it wasn't for his father or my husband or his stepdad or, the new husband that I married. That's a man there raising them. That's totally different from just getting dating advice. And plus they're not dating 24 hours. I mean, some boys are, they going from one to the next. But if a guy is just chilling, doing basketball, and he just living his life, yeah, that's where the man is there grooming him and helping him to grow up into a man. But to come to me just for some advice, that is crazy that I'm not qualified to give my teenage son. Let me tell you something. My son is more respectful, more honorable, more worthy than most of the men that have, maybe all, that have entered my life or tried to enter my life. I did that. Yes, with the help of God and, by grace and by his own inner, mind to say, this is what I need to do. Plus he's autistic. Now check this out. This is super, super powerful. Hope my mic didn't. This is powerful. One lady said, my son only trusts me. I'm the only one that he trusts as a single mom. Most likely because she's always with the son, right? My son is autistic. He don't trust nobody more than he trusts me. That's what she said. My son doesn't trust anybody more than me. So because I'm not a highly respected man, I got to let him fall by the wayside and knock his head up against the wall and make choices that he shouldn't make, choices that mama made, because my kids had it harder because mom made a choice to marry their father. You know what I'm saying? So I can't give him advice on what to look for and what mommy did. I sure can, and I sure will. So it doesn't trigger me at all. It's no ego here. I'm a voice for people that are not speaking up. And some of the women, they were like, oh my God, and women that are going to read it and scroll and unfriend and do all of that, they're going to feel some kind of way. They're going to feel some kind of way like, man, it's already hard enough for me as a single mom. Now I can't even teach my son dating advice. We didn't say raise. No, I would love to, but it's only, again, by the grace of God and the fact that he's autistic, and by my own will and my own choice on how to raise him, my son is the young man that he is now. And let me tell you this, there's no guarantee that a highly respected man, the advice that they give, that child is going to take it. Well, you didn't choose the right one. You said defer them to a highly respected man. That's what I'm saying. And then you could say at the end, choose wisely. And another single mom in the comments, she said, I deferred them to other men, highly respected men, for certain challenges. And if dating advice is one of them, great. But I'm not going to cut off dating advice. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you why that's a shot to a single mom. You're saying you're not worthy to give dating advice because you're single. That's exactly what you're saying. Because you're single, you can't give dating advice, even though some are single by their fathers being murdered, they're widowed, single mothers, the man walked away, or just a mutual divorce, anything. So because of those uncontrollable situations, I can't give dating advice to my son. For myself personally, stay in a 7-year marriage where I was almost killed and my children were almost killed. True story, I've got videos. Or get out and all 3 of us are alive, right? So because I chose to take them out of a horrible situation and make myself single, to me, that qualifies me even more because I got out of a bad situation. That's pretty wise to me. So it's better to find a suitable vessel, no matter the gender, no matter their status, find a suitable vessel that can impart wisdom when it comes to dating and love and relationships, not because they're a single mom. It's like, you're single, you don't have the right, you're disqualified. That's a whole shot. And when I say my son is autistic, he's high functioning, meaning that he could get in a relationship. He could maintain a relationship. She'd have to be a certain type of person, you know what I'm saying? Not the average type of female, unless, that's just what he pulls, whatever. But you understand what I'm saying without saying my son would have to have, and he's had crushes and he's liked girls before, and middle school, things like that. So it's still a possibility for him. But he doesn't trust anybody more than me because of the way I've raised him and the way that he himself has turned out. He takes care of his sister like I've never seen a young man take care of their sister. He takes care of me. He opens doors. He uses manners. I'm like, and I do believe it is part of his superpower, being autistic, but he is just one of those type of boys, young men that are kind, loving, and gentle. And he has asked me one time, he was about to do something real, I'm not going to say it, and it's just something you don't do when you like a girl. And it had to do with his superpower. He thought that would be, it wasn't anything illegal or gross or inappropriate. It was just a grand gesture a huge grand gesture that he was going to do in middle school to a girl that she was very nice and she declined him, but he wanted to show her that he could do this. And so he was about to do it. And his sister was in the other room cracking up. Farah, this was middle school. She was in the other room. He was like, Mom, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And so he showed me and he displayed it. I was like, son, you can't do that. Don't do that. You're going to embarrass yourself. Don't do that. So what are you talking about? That's simple dating advice. Even though he was in middle school, if he was to come to me as an adult and say, Mom, I just met this girl today and, I'm going to buy her whatever. And it's like, son, you just met her today. You sure that's something that, whatever. So all I'm saying is, and his sister was cracking up because she was like, dang, this boy. And even she came and said, no, you can't do that. Right. To me, if you want to help, I would say, why don't you give us tips then? If certain women don't have proximity to highly respected men, there's no one that they can go to, no one they can turn to. Their son doesn't trust anybody but us. So instead of saying you're not qualified because of your status, why don't you post every now and then, especially if you're influenced, why don't you post like tip of the day, for single moms that are raising boys or teenage boys, if your son ever does this or whatever, or ask us to give you questions and you give us tips. I'm just saying. And one woman, she said, I can think of a lot of highly respected men that I would never, ever, ever want my child to get advice from. So it's all about the wording and the fact that not everybody is strong enough or can internalize that in a positive way. They'll start to look down on themselves and feel bad at themselves for being single and not having, now I don't have this, now I don't have this, and I don't have this, and now I don't even have the right to give you advice as my teenage boy. Again, not religious, just pulling from my history. I do believe Jesus was 12 when he was in the temple exchanging wisdom with the elders, right? And they were astounded and astonished by his understanding and the answer. So they were asking him questions and he was giving answers. And if they're astounded by it, that means that it was some good advice. It was some good knowledge and good wisdom. But do we say, oh, because he's 12, he's a kid, don't listen to him? No, they respected the vessel. And sometimes the men that talk like that and start laughing and thinking it's funny, oh, they in the ego, y'all be forgetting where y'all came from, a woman. But I get it. It's ignorance and not calling somebody ignorant, but anybody that has a lack of knowledge in the area, it's ignorant. I don't know how this paint was made, so I'm ignorant to that, okay? So it's just ignorance, and that's why we're all here to learn from each other, exchange wisdom, and hopefully be open so that we can help the community. And when they say, send them to a highly respected man, some of us women have yet to find a highly respected man just to date, to court, to marry, to partner up with, let alone to send our sons to for dating advice. Every single mom situation is not cookie cutter. That's what we cannot do, is think that every circumstance is cookie cutter. Just because your mom was a deadbeat over here and was a drug addict over here and neglected you over here, not every mother was like that. I was not like that with my kids. My mom was present. She didn't give me dating advice, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be like her or that my daughter's going to be like me. We all have variables. Every circumstance, that's what this whole page is about. You living intuitively. You, because everything in life, whatever you want, whatever you're doing, it starts with you. Living your life intuitively, based on your intuition on what you need to do for you. Not some law, not religion, not what family says, not what society says. Of course, it has to be legal, but you live your life based on your intuition and what's going on inside of you. So I, raising a teenage son, am going to give him dating advice, period. And it's not just going to come from me only, though. That's the thing. It can come from several vessels: feminine, masculine, older man, younger man, woman. Doesn't matter. It's about the wisdom that speaks. Prime example, my cousin, she texted me, she said, hey, what's Jaden's Cash App? I want to send him some money for graduation, right? And she said, he probably doesn't remember who I am. She said, the last time I saw him, he was younger and we were at a family event and he was right behind you. And because of who he is and his superpower of being autistic, I believe that's going to be a lifetime thing, that he'll be with me. And that's fine because he's a great young man. Oh my God, I enjoy his presence more. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy his presence. And so that's what I'm saying. He was behind me. He was with me. Thank God he does have a wise mother and a good mother who has always looked out for his best interest, because she is just amazing that she said that, was it today or yesterday? And then this came up. He was behind you, girl, the whole time. And in this time, mostly the stuff that we hear and receive is online. Let's say you're in a small country town. I was born in a small country town. What if you only have 100 people in the town and there are no highly respected men, or there's nobody that your son will trust to give them advice? Most of the time you're going to go online, right? And we don't know those people. So we're using vessels even now online when it's how to do this, how to do this. It's do it yourself all over the internet. What you can just type in the question that your son is asking, and all types of advice is going to come to you. So it was just confusing to some of the women, of course, thinking, man, I'm doing a horrible job. No, raising a son, that's different. Of course, I would prefer and would have wanted and would have loved a man to raise my son. But dating advice? So single moms, be encouraged. You can give advice to your son. You as mama. And you know what's best. And even if it's not the best advice or you can't give advice, then you manifest and create that someone can come in and give him what he needs, right? I'm getting ready to do a podcast on the King and Heirs podcast. Women, are your standards too high? Part 2. We already did part 1. No, they're not too high. They're personal. Also, I have courting and dating videos that I just did. I'm going to put out another one on tips to be safe. I just did a stakeout for a young lady who wants to go on her first date. So that video should be out today or tomorrow. Just find the link somewhere on my page or subscribe and find the link for the podcast I'm getting ready to do tonight. Women, are your standards too high? Part 2. So I'm here with my teenage son, and this guy posted that a single mom should not be able to give their teenage son dating advice. What are your thoughts, kid?
Whoever said that is just out of their league.
They're out of their league. They shouldn't be talking about that, because one time when you were a teenager, you were about to do something with this girl. You wanted to do this grand gesture, right? And I told you you should not do that. And how do you feel about me telling you that?
I'm glad I never did it.
Why?
Because I would have embarrassed myself.
Yes. And this is unrehearsed, y'all. And if y'all know him, y'all know him. I told him not to do it, but according to this man's logic, if I would have saw him going to go do this grand gesture to this girl that he liked but didn't like him that way, it would have been, okay, son, go ahead. If he would have came to me and said that, I would have been like, I don't think you should do that. But then I would stop myself and say, oh my God, never mind, I'm a single mom. And then, like he said, he would have embarrassed himself. Mm-hmm. So a new video is on the way. Should single moms give advice to their kids, their teenage sons? And I just did a podcast as well on the King and Heirs podcast on YouTube, so go check that out. But a new video is going to be posted to my YouTube, You Living Intuitively. Should single moms be able to give their teenage sons advice? It should be uploaded tonight or in the morning on my YouTube channel, You Living Intuitively.